Just a quick reminder guys, these narrations are best enjoyed with headphones on. Okay then, before this review of Gears of War Reloaded kickstarts, I believe a little birthday wish may be in order. So a belated happy birthday to one of my friends, and the absolute sweating Halo Wars 2 multiplayer, Jermaine. I really hope you've had a good day. With that being said, let's get on with this review. Ladies and gentlemen, start your emulators. Welcome to the special episode of RetrOS, the show where we give you recommended dose of nostalgia by reviewing games from your childhood. This is Spartan Commander 1980 Chief Editor Disabled Gaming Reviews here, with my very own Delta Squad from Osaka, Japan, the Sonic All-Stars. Konnichiwa everyone, and in this special episode, we take a look at the remaster that put the Xbox 360 era on the map before the legendary Halo 3 is launched, and for the first time, the franchise had PlayStation consoles. Does this game live up the impact of its 2006 release, or should this remaster be lost forever in the pages of gaming history, and most probably the bargain bin at Walmart? Well, without further ado, let's find out. The year is 2006, and online communications were revolutionized as Twitter launched to the public. Today, the site is simply known as X, and now owned by the US billionaire Elon Musk. And it is still regarded as one of Facebook's biggest competitors. Google also required the site you are watching this very video review on YouTube for an eye-watering $1.65 billion. In the world of TV and film, the sequel to the Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, Dead Man's Chest, was released in cinemas. The movie is the highest grossing film of that year, with box office earnings over the $1 billion mark. No kidding guys, no kidding. And in the weird and wacky world of video games, all eyes were on Nintendo as their flagship console of that particular hardware generation, the Wii, was released. Although the console itself had the least powerful hardware of that generation, it still held its own pretty well against its competitors, such as the Sony PlayStation 3, was released in November of that year. Now 2006 had a lot of influential blockbuster releases. These include Clover Studios' Okami, Half-Life 2 Episode 2, and of course Canis Canem Edit or Dog Eat Dog for the PlayStation 2. This game is now known as Bully. Epic Games' Gears of War was one of them. This particular title was released exclusively for the Xbox 360. The classic itself was also ported to PC on November the 11th, 2007. By the way guys, fun fact, as I have said in my previous review of Gears Tactics, according to the game's lead designer Cliff Bleszinski, the inspiration for the original Gears of War was his first marriage, which eventually failed, and a trip to London. The situation was also the inspiration for two of characters of the series, Dominic and Maria Santiago. Obviously we will not go into that, as obviously it might take us into spoiler territory for Gears of War 2. Anyway, back to Gears of War. The game takes place on Serra, and it's set 14 days after Emergence Day, or E-Day for short. A subterranean race, the Locust Horde, has overrun the human population of the planet, thus plunging humanity in a desperate war for survival. You play as the part of a disgraced soldier, Marcus Phoenix, and Delta Squad, a ragtag band of soldiers who were tasked with carrying out a daring counterattack against the Locusts by hitting them in their subterranean lairs. Launchers at the ready, the accessibility scores are as follows. To kick things off visibility, we scored a sky-high 11. In terms of this particular category, the Coalition seems to be taking its development seriously. There are numerous colorblind modes which can be altered in the gameplay section of the options menu. Developers seem to have gone one step further by allowing you to completely customize whichever color scheme is more suitable for your impairments. So a big win for players with visual impairments. Next up on ability, score a 10. There are subtitle support which can be enabled and disabled through the audio section of the options menu. These subtitles are present both in cutscenes and during missions. Also, the subtitles present in this game function in the exact same way subtitles would work in a TV series or a movie. However, no font size customization options are available in this game. This is important because a lack of font customization options can put a player with a visual impairment at risk of getting any eye strain while reading the menus of subtitles during this game. Quite a few remasters that have been released in recent years have this vital feature. Why not this game?
This is outrageous. It's unfair.
So, despite this glaring issue, this game is fairly playable to a player with a hearing impairment. Next up, mobility scored a 10.5. In the PC version of the game which we used to test it, you can customize the controls using a trusty keyboard and mouse to suit your impairments. Better still, there's controller support for the game right out of the box. Using a controller, and for the console version, there are numerous stick layouts which can be changed on the fly. Even better, you can customize the button layouts to whichever bit suits your impairments. For a game that was originally built for the ground up and exclusive to consoles upon its 2006 release, it should have been an absolute no-brainer. The console versions, however, it's a completely different story. You can only use a keyboard for text chat in multiplayer. Apart from that, you were tethered using a controller. In terms of mobility impaired players, having that options to switch input methods makes this game a lot easier to play. Although, personally, I would classify that as a nice to have, it still remains it should be implemented.
That's not good enough!
Honestly, skill issue TC, and last certainly by no means least, gameplay is scored a 9. Well, in short, you will get exactly what you paid for, a second remaster of the original Gears of War. Although this version contains all the DLC that was a part of the game's original 2007 release, and the additional content that was released with the first remaster of the game, the Ultimate Edition, released in 2015. However, there is no new content in this remaster that makes this purchase worthwhile. This remaster's biggest attraction is, of course, the original Gears of War being available to PlayStation consoles, which actually makes the game feel a little half-assed. I mean, sure, there's the odd graphical enhancements here and there, due to the game being ported to a newer version of the Unreal Engine, thus allowing the game to take advantage of more modern hardware. In terms of the multiplayer, full cross-play support between all three platforms this remaster is available in, i.e. Xbox, PlayStation and PC is available, albeit be you playing through Steam or the Windows Store. The infrastructure is pretty solid. For what I have played of the multiplayer, I experienced a little to no lag, but with the game setting you back £40, they should have at least provided you with some extra content to justify paying that amount for the game. In summary, Gears of War Reloaded is a good way to replay this 2006 classic. As I have said before, all DLC content in the original version, along with the content being released with the Ultimate Edition, is all there, with full cross-play support allowing you to play with your friends regardless of which format that you play the game on. However, the developers should have at least given us a little extra content to purchase this game again. So, if you're a Gears of War fan who's looking for an excuse to revisit this classic, this is a very good way to do it. And the overall score is 101.25%. Okie dokie guys, I'll see you guys on the 25th of September for the kickoff of the Crosswalls Grand Prix and the next review.